Hey, this is Glenn. Welcome to another episode of Difficult Questions. This one, who gets to be naked when? This comes from just me seeing some social media posts. Apparently there's a huge row about how women are dressing in gyms and how revealing they may be dressing or how tight-skinned the clothes may be. And it just got me thinking about dress codes, which I've talked about before, but specifically who's allowed to show what parts of skin, and this kind of weird construct that we've built for male and female bodies. For example, men, when you're dressing up, there is no real approved option for men to have short pants. Full-length pants are dress up. I actually saw a comedian talk about how when he saw men going up on stage for the first time in shorts, they looked really unprofessional. There was no respect. Yet women in public have been able to show their bare legs for 20, 30 years now without any criticism. I think about men's business attire and how we have ties or collared shirts. This is not revealed, but in different social situations, women's dress clothing can reveal more. And there have been men that have challenged this, but in some way they're always ridiculed. My mother was the most judgmental about clothes, male and female, but especially female. And her thing was weight. At the same time, I grew up swimming and around swimmers, and I was heavy. And I was always embarrassed about my weight. And my mother made sure I was also embarrassed about my weight. And I always tried to keep it down. But I never felt that I could, even in swimming circles, go bare chested because I wasn't skinny enough. Where my friends were skinny and they just go topless all the time, which goes into this criticism that women have about being able to go topless. It is true, you have breasts, and in America especially, breasts are sexually exciting to men. So when you do show your breasts, even if it is legal in New York City and I think Los Angeles parks, you're going to get ogled. And women don't like that. And they say men can go shirtless and it's not a big deal. Depending on the men, it is a big deal. Because if you are fat, someone will criticize you for your big boobies or your big belly or your dad bod. And for me, I really always took those criticisms to heart. So I just didn't want to show anybody. And I remember just as a kid, one day my aunts told me I had really nice legs. But then I got varicose veins in my late teens. Then I had my veins stripped. And then I started getting in motorcycle accidents. So my legs were no longer beautiful. And I remember that really weighed on me. So for a long time, I wouldn't even wear shorts. I wouldn't, even in casual situations, I was long pants guy all the time because I was ashamed of what I had. And I have kind of a fantasy of at some point being able to go shirtless and feel that I shouldn't be criticized, even though someone probably will. I remember in junior college, I had a tank top, and even tank tops, which were in vogue when I was in junior high and high school and junior college, especially during the summer, I have a bit of arm hair, upper arm hair. And I remember this girl in junior college. I really felt confident. I thought, oh, I have nice arms. But she saw my arm hair and I could see her eyes just, ugh. So we do judge, and it's not just male and it's not just female. It's we all have these opinions. And it's whether or not we feel the right to share those opinions. And that kind of goes into this gym culture because, yeah, men working out. One, men who don't work out generally criticize how vain men who do work out are. Oh, they've always got their shirts off to show their muscles and they're appreciating their muscles. And that's too much. I would never do that. It's not, that's a certain type of man. It's a certain type of vain man. But when you're in a gym culture, men generally aren't allowed to wear short shorts. They'll get criticized for short shorts. They'll get criticized for anything tight that shows a bulge. And some men do it. We just go ahead and do it. But people will always criticize. People criticize men bicyclists. Why do they have to wear those bike shorts? Why are they so tight? I don't want to see all that. Yet women are always pushing that envelope of how much of my body can I show? I think because they like the attention, and women are valued by their looks. So they're always kind of putting their looks out there and putting their shape out there. But it doesn't seem like they're accepting the criticism that the men get for showing their bodies. I just saw someone talk about how joggers, men joggers wear these short shorts and no shirt. And why do these skinny men get to run around naked? And then I look at women volleyball, sports. I look at swimsuits on the beach. Why are men in the US criticized for wearing bikini briefs or Speedos? You always have to have length to at least your mid thigh. I look at the UFC and that one fighter who once wore briefs into the octagon, and Dana White, the CEO, banned him, said that is just ridiculous to see men's upper legs. We can't see men's upper legs. No, they have to be women's upper legs. Absolutely. Women's buttocks. Absolutely. Men's buttocks. Do we really have to see that? Why is that guy going around naked? So it just made me think about the different ways and the different judgments that we have about public dress and different ways of being public dress. I always thought it was crazy that we had swimsuit attire, which was pretty much just seeing everybody's body, and that was acceptable on a beach or at a swimming pool, but it wasn't acceptable anywhere else. Well, it's the same body. Why is it not? We just put on these constructs for each other. I first started off as a stage electrician, and a lot of times we'd be working in attics of really hot places for hours. And I remember this one summer, it was this attic of a church that wasn't air conditioned, and we were just dripping sweat. And it's a male-dominated career, so a lot of the stage electricians are men. But we had one woman on crew, and we were dying up there. So all the guys just said, I got to take my shirt off. And so all the guys took their shirt off, and they were not fit guys. They were fat, and I was kind of chubby, and I thought, but I'm just dying. And then this woman got offended, and so she just took her top off too, and she had no bra, and she was just doing her thing. And one, was making a statement, and two, I could tell she was a person, she enjoyed the attention of men who would see her breasts. And we finally, all the guys just said, fine, you win, we'll put our shirts back on. Everybody put their shirts back on. I don't know. I don't know the right answer to that. Maybe we should just accept breasts and turn that switch off in our head. I've worked with a lot of dancers, and so I kind of had to learn how to turn that switch off in my head. But then I am very protective of that switch, and I say, I get to turn my sex drive monster on. You don't get to turn my sex drive monster on. So now, as a 51-year-old man, when I'm out and about with maybe younger, attractive women going to the gym, yeah, I just don't want to see that, because I don't want my sex drive monster switch to possibly get triggered. I don't want to be seen or accused of ogling when I see someone that my mind and eyes find attractive, because, oh, I don't need to look at that. So I too am wary of going to the gym, because I think men are feeling boxed in. They're damned if they do and damned if they don't. And they're getting angry about that. So I don't know what to do. I don't think that clothing restrictions is a good thing, but I wonder if people should have more of a social responsibility or a feeling of social responsibility. I've talked to women from the East Coast, and they tend to be a little more demure, a little more buttoned up. They don't show as much. West Coast, we're kind of used to just taking our clothes off all the time. And I don't know what the answer is. What are your thoughts? Thanks.